right, Scott, you can just come on down. Just wait 1 second for the cue to start. You can come on down. They don't see anybody. You can just wait if they happen. Suze, is that you? Oh, I hope you're feeling okay. On the mend? Oh, good. No, he can't see you. But if you stand up here, he can. George, Neil is waving to you. He can see you, but you can't see him. Yeah. We're just waiting for Canner to come back, and then we'll be good to go. You could. Oh. Maybe at the end, we'll do a train. Sure. Are we ready, Canner? All right, Scott, take it away. And Canner, is your laptop unmuted? Okay, go for it, Scott.
All right. Shabbat Shalom. My name is Scott Rubin, and on behalf of Congregation Beth Chaim, it is an honor to welcome you to our Shabbat service this evening as we Zoom from the synagogue. We want to maintain a warm and welcoming feeling for these services and create a sacred space that will inspire prayer. For those on Zoom, please help us by staying muted unless the clergy invites you to unmute and participate. You are welcome, however, to write in the chat box. And while we will not always be able to hear one another, we would love for everyone on Zoom to sing with us. All the liturgy will be displayed on the screen to help you follow along. If you have any trouble with technology, our Director of Lifelong Education, Ann Berman-Waldorf, will be happy to assist you. For those praying in person, we ask you to turn off your cell phones and be present with us. Although we are physically separated and masked, we are all one community in prayer and celebration. All right.
Welcome to everyone who is with us tonight in person, by Zoom, and by YouTube. Tonight we're celebrating Jewish Summer Camp, As Beth Chaim's preschool camp starts this Monday, we know a number of other camps start in the coming weeks. We want to send off all of our campers as they go to live in Jewish time and be in sacred community at their summer homes. I'm excited to go to camp myself. We'll hear more about that in just a moment, and we'll have a chance to bless all of our campers on the eve of their departure. This Shabbat, we're also grateful to celebrate one of our members in particular, Eliana Winters, who will be called to the Torah tomorrow morning as one of Beth Chaim's B'nai Mitzvah. I now invite Eliana and the Winters family to lead us in candle lighting and Kiddush on Zoom. So our friends in the sanctuary, if you just want to turn to the back, you'll be able to see them. Oh, Canner's just too good. If you'd like to follow along, we're on pages 2 and 3 in the prayer book. All right, Jason and Sumit, take it away with your English.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Now we light the Sabbath candles. Eliana, whenever you're ready.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mizvotav v'tzivanu lehalik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. And we continue with Kiddush in our prayer books on page 5, the prayer for our joy of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pirei hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mizvotav v'tzivanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinkilanu zikaron l'masai b'reishit ki hu yom tehillah l'mikrei kodesh zeh l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'hayta v'utanu kidashta mikol b'shabbat ba'uratzon hinkilanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim, to life. And now we'll hear a reading from Eliana's family members, Nathan Eisner and Sarah Reinholtz.
There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure, but what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace.
Toda rabah. And I hope everyone will join me in wishing Eliana a Mazal Tov. We'll continue the celebration tomorrow morning.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
So we hope you enjoy these ditties tonight.
לך דודי, לקראת חלה, בני שבת, לקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת חלה, בני שבת, לקבלה. שמור וזכור לדיבורך, סיימנו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ושם ותפארת ונתינה לך דודי, לקראת חלה, בני שבת, לקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת חלה, בני שבת, לקבלה. Oh, there we go. It was stuck. Still stuck. לקראת שבת לפניך, כי בכל הברכה בראש מגדם נסוכה ומעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לקראת חלה, בני שבת, לקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת חלה, בני שבת, לקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי האורי ומיורי, אורי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת חלה, בני שבת, לקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת חלה, בני שבת, לקבלה.
Rise and face the entrance.
בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצורה, תוך אמוניה מסגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לקראת חלה, בני שבת, לקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת חלה, בני שבת, לקבלה.
I invite you to turn to your neighbors, greet them Shabbat Shalom. Our friends on Zoom, feel free to unmute or write in the chat box.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom.
And before we get too comfy, we're going to continue with Baruch Hu, our call to worship.
Am I awake? Am I breathing? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I breathing?
page 32 in the prayer book.
נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ומצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו, לאורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, נגע יומם ולילה. ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמי, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. יא לה לה יא לה 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 יא לה 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 וכל נפשך ולכל מאודיך. לה לה יא לה 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 והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי היום לבבך. יא לה יא לה 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 ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ובשרתם באותה ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וטבת המזוזות ביתך המזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. לה לה יא לה 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 למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Cantor, I'm going to go off script for one moment, so if you'll stop sharing the screen. I'm not going to read them. I'm going to seize on a teachable moment that just emerged in our sanctuary. As we just finished the prayer, V'ahavta, really a text lifted right out of the Torah, our book of teaching, that instructs us to teach these words and these instructions to all those that we meet. And so the prayer reminds us that these instructions should be recited when we wake up and when we go to sleep, when we are on our way, and when we're at home. And so the rabbis played with these words from our most sacred text, and tried to make sense of them. They decided that the prayer known as Shema, which we would call Shema and V'ahavta, has to be recited twice a day, when you wake up and before you go to bed. And for the rabbis, there were 3 prescribed times of day for prayer: morning, afternoon, and evening. The afternoon prayer, you didn't have to say Shema, but you better believe that morning and evening, absolutely. And they wondered, what should be the choreography that goes with that prayer? Now, for many, many years, the Shema and V'ahavta were considered the same piece of liturgy. And the tradition was, in many communities, whatever body posture you found yourself in at the time of Shema, you can stay in that posture. And in many more observant communities, by the time they hit Shema, they're sitting, so they stay seated. But the Reform movement was so enamored of the 2 lines of the Shema, they wanted to elevate them. And by elevating the words, they said, nope, you got to stand for them. So now we have 2 dueling traditions. So if you're supposed to stay in the same posture in which you find yourselves at Shema, if you're already standing, you can combine both traditions. But if you're seated, you have to decide, do I stand for Shema because Reform Judaism compels me to? Or do I stay seated because for many years the tradition was to stay in the same posture? So you can't go wrong either way. Typically at B'chaim, once we rise for the call to worship Baruch Hu, we typically stay standing through Shema and then sit down for the rest of the prayer, the V'ahavta. But this rabbi is not going to legislate your choreography. If you decide there's one more meaningful than what we typically have done in recent years, go for it. Experiment. Try it more than one way and see which way feels more comfortable for you. But it's something that actually just emerged as we're praying together when we didn't pray together in the same sacred space for so many months. So we're re-engaging with the choreography and with our tradition in a way that we're very grateful to do so. We're going to continue with our service with another text lifted right out of the Torah, Mi Chamocha, our song of freedom and joy and liberation.
So, Rabbi, do we have to wade into the water for this one?
I guess we could. If you felt so moved as to grab a tambourine and start dancing, again, no one on the Bima will judge you.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha le'edav Torah tehilu lo seifala, Torah tehilu lo seifala.
I got it, we're excited.
Shalom, ששת ימים עשה אדוני אל השמיים ואל הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדור ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש וביום השביעי שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדור ברית עולם.
Could it be that a prayer is like a tree falling in the woods? No one needs to hear its thunderous crash for its nutrients to soak back into the earth, for its hollows to provide shelter, for it to become one with life itself. Let your prayers pour out upon the fertile ground of your heart. Let your prayers feed your aching soul. Could it be that your prayer is like a tree falling in the woods? No one needs to see it crack and tumble for it to clear space for new growth, for it to open space, letting sunlight penetrate the deep, for it to become one with life itself. We rise as we are able for the Amidah, our standing prayer, which begins on page 46.
Adonai, sefatai yiftach, ufi yadi tihilatacha. Adonai, sefatai yiftach, ufi yadi tihilatacha. Adonai, open up my lips, let my mouth may declare your praise. Let my mouth may declare your praise. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ואהבה. מלך עוזר מושיע רגל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, וחיי הכל אתה והושיע. מוריד אתה, מחלקי חיים בחסד, לחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נוכרים ברופא פועלים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, אישי עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות. ומדומך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמנת להחיות ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. We turn to our prayer of gratitude, Modim, and we want to say thank you for all the blessings in our lives. Would anyone like to share a blessing this evening? Lori.
Last night, the doctor did not very well.
Yes, our event last night went off without a hitch. Fantastic. Camille. Oh, mazel tov on the arrival of your new family member. Arlene. Mazel tov, Claire, on your graduation. Other blessings. I'm grateful for the rain that we had this week that our earth very much needed, and all of those who suffer from seasonal allergies as well. But I'm glad that the sun came back up. We have more words of gratitude. Keith.
Very, very dear friends that become dear friends. Join the celebration of birthdays and Father's Day. Visit all of these people.
To be with family and friends like family, to celebrate happy things like birthdays and Father's Day. Fantastic. Any other blessings we want to share? Grateful that school is almost over, sooner for some and a little later for others, but we're in June, so the end is nigh.
I'm grateful for my new graduate.
That's right. Mazel tov to Lily Binder and her graduation from college. So we'll say thank you. We turn to our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, as we think of those near and far who are in need of shalom and shleimut, peace and wholeness. Page 60 for those following in the prayer book.
Shalom Rav, Ad Yisrael Amcha, Sim Me'olam. Shalom Rav, Ad Yisrael Amcha, Sim Me'olam. Ki ata hu melech Adon, Lekol HaShalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon, Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Sim Me'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Sim Me'olam. V'tov Elecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael, b'chol רגע ובכל שעה. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Sim Me'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Sim Me'olam. Adonai, Amvarech et Amo, et Amo Yisrael, Shalom. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Sim Me'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Sim Me'olam. Sim Me'olam. Sim Me'olam.
Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and making musical instruments out of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first. We continue with silent prayer. Our thoughts now turn to all those in our lives and beyond who are in need of healing. Healing of the body, healing of the mind, healing of the heart, and healing of the soul. Our friends on Zoom, please type the names of all those you'd like to dedicate this prayer for healing. And our friends in the sanctuaries, are there any names we'd like to share out loud? And to those names we add, Rhoda Schwartz, Arlene Grable, Teddy Molaski, Noah Hecker, Marvin and Ginny Gintelman, Betty Abramowitz, Bob Gast, Klein Ben Esther, Elaine Berkowitz, Barbara Gladstone, Rosalie Krieger, Piper Fitzpatrick, Dorothy Chason, Jill Sava, Yisrael Binyamin, Arlene Mulry Pearl, Lisa Schur, Louis Baskin, Erica Taylor, Sandra Schachter, Paulin is still at work. The Weisberg and Evans family, Bernard Greenwald, Allison Schaffman Flood, Gail Malter, Avram Glazer, Iris Horowitz, Scott Horowitz, Nikki Van Rensburg, Howard Thals, Frank Waldorf, Sharon Falitz, David Huseman, Catherine Isnardi, Eileen Applebaum, Bobby Schwartz, Lisa Garwood, Mary Dillahanty, Cherie Harden, Bernice Dvorkin, Meredith Bloomberg, Faith Tanner, Cheryl Corbett, Fran Stuckey, Richard Weiss, and Kate Michelson. We continue with our words for healing. On Sunday, we will commemorate the 77th anniversary of D-Day, the Allied invasion of Normandy and Operation Overlord during World War II. Many understand D-Day as the beginning of the end of the Nazis' reign over Europe, and grateful to the Allied troops whose sacrifice helped stop the atrocities of the Holocaust. I now invite Keith Sachs to offer a prayer for our country in the spirit of the anniversary of D-Day.
Thank you, Rabbi. I've been a member here for 40 years, at least, paid my dues at least. And so I've heard this prayer for 40 years, or a version of it. And I think when the rabbi asked me to read it, it was the first time I ever listened and really thought about what I was reading. And it is so poignant in light of D-Day and what the sacrifices that those brave people made. If they had not, then the final solution may well have been the ultimate solution. And so I ask you to either read it with me or think about it as I'm reading it. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Keith. We'll now invite up Neil Fetter to offer a prayer for the state of Israel, which is once again near the top of many of our news cycles as a new government has been formed this week.
O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Neil. In just 18 days, I will pack up my family and head to Camp Harlem to serve on faculty there. This is our regional reform camp nestled in the Pocono Mountains. This is the camp I would have attended if I had had the opportunity once upon a time. And this is the camp where our congregation has a multi-generational connection. Jewish Sleepaway Camp is where children can eat, sleep, and breathe Judaism for 1 to 2 months a year. Jewish Sleepaway Camp introduces our children to other Jews from all over the world, many from the Mid-Atlantic region, but also to places like Great Britain and Israel. As a young adult, I had the honor of serving on staff at Camp Harlem. And now I have the pleasure of working with other rabbis, cantors, and educators for a few weeks every summer. I see it as a crucial component of my position as rabbi to go to camp, and this is why. First and foremost, I go to camp to support our Beth Chaim campers and staff. We have a contingency of new and returning Beth Chaimites this summer, and I will serve as their link to home while they are away. I also go to camp to support all campers and staff. After a year and a half of living through a pandemic, we all need camp and its sacred community more than ever. To this end, one of my focus areas will be mental health support for all the young people at camp. I go to camp to teach and to learn. This summer, I will lead sessions on Israel, tefillah or prayer, and Jewish identity. I hope to leave camp with new tunes to familiar prayers and some new Jewish tools for my rabbi toolbox. I go to camp to connect with other clergy and congregations in our region. Faculty members work closely with their cohort, learning about each other's communities and sharing ideas about programs and aspects of Jewish life. Because of COVID, we are a smaller group of faculty this year, but I'm excited to get to know some colleagues I have not yet met. And I go to camp to become rejuvenated. I've always loved camp, and 2 weeks, or 4 in this case, spent secluded in the Harlem bubble feeds my soul so that I can return to Beth Chaim feeling refreshed, renewed, and ready to get back to congregational life. I know that camp is a magical place, and I am incredibly grateful for the opportunity to immerse myself in it every summer. Thank you, Beth Chaim, for sharing me with Camp Harlem. And when my family and I return from Kunkletown, Pennsylvania, my eldest will start at JCC Abrams Camp right in our own backyard. I know there are many in the Beth Chaim family who love our local day camp. So now I ask anyone tonight who goes to Jewish summer camp to show us your ruach, your camp spirit. Our friends on Zoom, if you would like to turn your camera on and wave your swag, your finest camp swag, we'd love to see it. And I don't see any campers in the sanctuary tonight, but definitely a parent of a camper, if you want to come on up and say hello. But we definitely want to shout out to the JCC Abrams Camp, URJ Camp Harlem, URJ Creative Arts Academy, where Ann Berman Waldorf serves on faculty, and our NJY camps. If there are any other camps on Zoom, we want to hear about it. Any other Jewish summer camps represented tonight? Camille. Green Family Camp in Texas, where Camille's son Billy is working this summer. Yeah. All right. If Naomi's on tonight, Naomi Love, Young Judea. Any other camps we want to shout out? And anyone on Zoom? All right. So Cantor, if you'll join me in offering this blessing for our campers on the eve of their departure. It may not be 24 hours, but soon. Our God and God of our ancestors, in celebration we come together on this Shabbat to offer praise to you, who sets the stars in the sky, who creates a world that is summertime forever, who blesses us with friends that become family.
The ripples of Jewish camp have helped shape our communities, giving a space for summertime magic, for congregational retreats, for youth group gatherings, for Jewish lay and professional leaders who have strengthened our community and its sacred work.
Tonight we give thanks for all the young people who go to Jewish summer camp, for the amazing friends they have made, for the counselors who have opened their eyes to new possibilities, for the staff who have ensured their safety and well-being.
May camp continue to be a safe haven for these campers and counselors to discover their unique talents, to realize their strengths and their growing edges, to see the spark of the divine in everyone they meet.
May camp continue to inspire them to be better students in school, better children at home, and better human beings in the world.
For all these blessings and many more, we say, Amen.
Amen. We now turn to Aleinu, our prayer, reminding us to partner with God and make this world a better place. We ask folks to rise as they're able as we turn to our sacred text.
עלינו לשבח ולהודות הכל, לתת הילולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא נותן שמיים ויוצא אל הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגבי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
ask everyone to please be seated for just a moment. There are stars up above so far away, we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. As I recite the following names, I ask if you have a relationship with someone you hear to please rise at your seat, and then we'll rise all together as a community. This Shabbat, we remember one who was taken from us this week, Myrna Balch, aunt of Jonathan McCarowitz, one whose family is in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, Jerry Rovner, father of Amy Rovner. And we remember the following yard sites, the anniversary of the passing of these loved ones: Ruth Eisman, Ann Trott, Edith Waller, David Boyarsky, Robert Bates, Hy Goodell, Henrietta Trush, Ruth Basin, Andrew Blaustein, Lillian Messeloff, Alan Medoff, Ray Lindenbaum, Lenore Loeb, Bruce Berwick, Joseph Sheps, Howard Resnick, Albert Roberts, Martha Sachs, Leonard Schwartz, Albert Lunsky, Sarah Lachine, Kate Grossbaum, Alfred Geber, Jean Withers, Rose Kramer, Louis Foxman, Leonard Goldhammer, George Moskowitz, Sarah and Alexander Fox, Eric Kodsky, Michael Rosen, and Joel Selikoff, Paul Short, Vincent Tracy, and Martin Rugen. We rise as one community as we turn to the hallowed words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimru amin. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam u'lamei almaya, v'yibarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei kudisham brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbichata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yalma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim alinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom alinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be a blessing. I invite everyone to take a seat as we call Scott Rubin back up.
Again, my name is Scott Rubin, and on behalf of the Board of Directors of Congregation Beth Chaim, thank you for joining us this evening for our Shabbat service in honor of camp. Tomorrow morning, we'll have our weekly Torah study at 8:45 back in the chapel. At 10:30 a.m., Eliana Winters will be called to the Torah as one of Beth Chaim's B'nai Mitzvah. On Sunday at 11 a.m., Sisterhood will be hosting a Zoom book discussion on The Fruit of Her Hands by Michelle Cameron. Our executive committee members will meet on Tuesday evening. Join us on Wednesday at 11 a.m. for Cantor Binder's class on Zoom. Who are you and what do you want? The color of your soul. Wednesday night, following groups will meet: security, religious practices, and reopening. On Thursday night, Sisterhood will have Krav Maga in the parking lot. At 7:30 p.m., the Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Mercer will hold a forum on anti-Semitism for parents and caregivers of Jewish youth. Join us next Friday at 5:45 p.m. for a hand-clapping good time at Tat Shabbat in the lot. Shabbat services will begin in the sanctuary at 8 p.m. Visit our website, bethchaim.org, for more details about our upcoming events. Thank you, as always, for being a valued member of our community, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hopefully this will be very familiar to our campers and our religious school students and parents as well. A very peaceful prayer for peace. Ose shalom Roma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Hey!
Wherever we find ourselves in these summer months, may we all look up at the same starry sky, hopefully on a clear night, and may we all feel oneness as a community, feeling connected to those around us, and feeling this canopy of peace that we especially feel on Shabbat.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless us and protect us.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May all of God's lights shine upon us, and may God be gracious to us.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May we always feel that God's presence is near, and may we be blessed with the greatest gift of all, the gift of peace.